Welcome to the fight of your life. Are you willing to die to shine? Nobody is taking us down. We are here for the crown of sound.
And right now we have the great Brent Smith from the band Shinedown. Brent, great to see you, man.
What's happening, everybody? Gentlemen, lady, what's going down?
Lady.
You know, we're so happy to see you. Brent, it's been an incredible year for you. I mean, certainly having one of the biggest rock albums of the last 12 months with Planet Zero, a long-awaited record, but just such an incredible record. Was it great to see just how well received the record was?
Can we just talk about for a minute that my inner child is freaking out that Matt Pinfield is talking about anything related to what I do in music? The fact that you got to understand something, man. This is crazy. Every time I get an opportunity to hang with you, I'm in awe because I'm such a fan of yours. But yes, we don't ever take it for granted, man. Every record that we do, we talked about this, Matt, you know, you try not to write the same song over and over again, try not to make the same record twice. But yeah, man, we still are cut from a cloth where we make albums. We're not going in there and going, okay, we've got 3 singles and the rest is filler. We can just, you know, we'll be fine with that. Like, it has to be a body of work every single time.
I love that.
That's so cool. And, you know, we've been playing your new video, Dead Don't Die, the last couple of weeks. It is racing up the charts here. I don't want to give too much away because we haven't aired the final countdown yet, but things are looking good. I just want, you know, curious if you could share any insights with us in the making of that video, you know.
So it's wild that literally like 25 minutes ago, I just saw on Billboard magazine, we broke a record for 30 top 10, 30 songs that have gone to the top 10 on the rock chart, which is crazy.
Congratulations.
And yeah, it's wild stuff that like continues to happen that I still don't really, it's a very grateful individual. Sorry if I sound flustered. I kind of am, because a lot of, when these things happen, you don't realize the effect of it all. But ultimately, it's because of people like yourself that have supported the music and been there literally from day one. And obviously Shinedown Nation, not just in America, but abroad, internationally. It all comes down to the fans. So tying that into Dead Don't Die, the making of the video was Lewis Cater, who did not only the Dead Don't Die video, but he also did the video that we just released for the song A Symptom of Being Human. With Dead Don't Die, I told him, I said, think John Wick. Think like the best action films that are out there. And let's kind of do an homage to that, because the premise of Dead Don't Die literally is what doesn't kill you will make you stronger. Like, that's the emphasis inside of the song. Like, there's always going to be hurdles. There's always going to be obstacles. But that metaphor in there is very much about the human spirit. You know, it's like, you know, you're going to have to kill me to get me to stop. I'm never going to stop, you know, charging. I'm never going to stop climbing the mountain. I'm never going to stop going after what it is that I need to do, not only for myself as an individual, but for my friends, my family. Why are you here? What is your legacy? You know, that's a lot of what Dead Don't Die is about, is just giving people, empowering people. As Zach would say, because Zach wrote the lyrics. And, you know, he wrote it about me, which, you know, is very endearing for me. But Zach's whole principle of the song is he just wants it to make you feel like you can run through a brick wall. So that's kind of what we wanted to do with the video, was make it super action-packed and make it fun to watch.
I love it. And it's honestly super refreshing just hearing you talk about it with such excitement, because a lot of bands who have been bands for a super long time kind of get a little bit jaded and they don't seem excited about it anymore. So to me, just hearing you talk about that just brought a smile to my face. So I really, really enjoyed that. But I also want to tell you how I first discovered Shinedown, because I was kind of a late bloomer when it came to hard rock and metal. But the movie Grind, this was like, okay, this movie, first of all, all of the main characters in that were such cute teenage skateboarders, and I just love that. But then he's going down this huge ramp, and they start playing Shinedown, Flying from the Inside, and it is insane. It is like every time I listen to that song, it just reminds me of that movie in the best way. But ever since then, I've been a huge Shinedown fan. So.
I think it's incredible.
Yeah, and a lot of that, That's the whole dynamic you were saying a minute ago, how the enthusiasm is there. We always say, like, being in Shinedown's like being in the third grade forever. Like, so there's, I still go back and, like, it's cool how grind became like this cult classic in some circles too. Like, after the fact, it wasn't like a big box office hit or what have you, but it's like one of those kind of like wink wink movies.
Yep.
So yeah, I remember the first time I saw it and the song came on, I lost my mind.
It was amazing. The soundtrack was like just so solid, first of all. But if you have not seen Grind, go and watch it because it will bring back that teenage vibe.
And
100%.
speaking of that, like speaking of the idea that you guys still get excited, you talk about feeling like you're in the third grade. We don't ever lose. I think that we can all agree with you there. We have that passion for music. We love it so much, and for rock. I love that about what you do, not only in the videos, as Katie mentioned, but your stage show is just incredible for this most current tour and what you've been doing.
Thank you.
Since the release of Planet Zero. I mean, you bring an incredible show, from the performance to the light show to everything that's happening, and you're completely involved in that. Tell everybody about that.
Yeah, it's always been about theatrical. That's kind of the principle that we look at. We grew up on, big stage shows, Motley Crue, Pink Floyd, obviously Queen, Iron Maiden. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. But, when we finally were able to, the reason why the performance and the reason why the staging has to be at a certain level, and even to this day, we put all the money into the production. Like, some people would be shocked at, in America, we make a really solid payday when, we go out on tour and what have you. But you'd be surprised to, like, kind of know that a lot of times we're breaking even on certain things, just to make sure that we're bringing the show that we know the audience deserves. So a lot of it does come down to the visual aspects. Listen, not every band can be Rage Against the Machine. And what I mean by that, and we can do it when we need to, and what that is, when I say Rage Against the Machine and use them as an example, that band was always a band that was their own pyro. Like, they didn't need a bunch of like lighting and crazy stuff going off, this and that and the other, and that worked for them. But for me and for us and everybody in Shinedown, when we're writing these songs and we're coming up with these records, we see it visually, like what it should look like. Like, we see, like, when, a pyrotechnic is going off, or the chaos of the video intertwined with the lasers, intertwined with whatever special effects from the lighting aspect, from, if we bring a piano from the ceiling, all of a sudden it comes down, like all these different things. And honestly, we were inspired by all of all of those theatrics is something that still means a great deal to us. We want people to come into these shows and really just be blown away, because we've said this over and over again, and it holds true, especially now. It's very competitive out there in the touring industry, but it was always competitive, but even more so now. And when you're asking people to spend this kind of money to go out, and bring their girlfriend, bring their friend, bring their wife, you got to pay for babysitters. You got to make sure that you get there on time. You got parking, you got concessions. If you want to buy a T-shirt, like, it's expensive, So it was never about like, oh, we'll just show up, take the money, throw a backdrop up, and they'll be fine. We've done that because we've had no choice, like if we're in the daytime on a festival or something like that. But when it's ours and we have the responsibility to present it as a headliner to an audience, we're going to go big or go home, man.
Yeah. Well, I'll say that I'll never forget the fireworks at Aftershock Festival because they scared the shit out of me.
They were incredible.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, not only obviously you guys are legendary for your live performances, you're also, behind the scenes known as legendarily great guys. And, news is getting out that you guys are going to be doing this wonderful, you're working with a wonderful charity for suicide prevention. And I don't know if you guys heard this, $1 from every show they play in the next month is going to be donated to suicide prevention. And I would love to hear more about it. I think that's such an honorable and especially important thing in our industry.
Yeah, 1,000%. So myself and Eric and Barry and Zach, we're ambassadors for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. We're going on, I believe, year 12 that we've been working with them. And so for this particular tour that we've got going, April 3rd through May 9th, which is the Revolutions Live with From Ashes to New and our really, really good friends in 3 Days Grace, we partnered with them completely on this tour. So every dollar from every ticket sold goes to the foundation.
That's
incredible.
unreal. I love that. I try to be a huge mental health advocate, and I every day on my shows give out the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline in case anyone listening is struggling with their mental health or thoughts of suicide, because I know how difficult it can be, reaching out to those closest to you. So by just sharing that 988 phone number to your social media platforms, you're already doing so much, because you never know how many people are going to end up seeing that message and choosing to retweet it, reshare it, or just send it and forward it to someone.
I love it. You've always put your money where your mouth is, and you've also just been so absolutely kind. When I was struggling over the pandemic, you were there and helped me in a big way, Brent. And I don't mind saying that. I'm a sober guy now, almost 3 years sober, and it meant everything to me that you really you came out in major support, and thank you for that. My life's changed drastically as I'm going on this 3 years without a drink, no drugs, anything like that, and it's good to be alive. But it's great to remember to always give back, and you've always done that. So thank you.
A smile goes
we
a
love
long
you, man.
way.
Yeah, 100%, Matt. We love you, man. We appreciate you, and going back to look, we're a band that's been we've been talking about mental health for the better part of 2 decades. Before it was not necessarily in media and put to the forefront. And I'm very, very glad that it is brought to the forefront. But people have to understand this too. Like, no matter how you look at it, we all inhabit this planet together, and you're going to go through different stages in your life. You know what I mean? And that's part of being alive, and that's part of the journey. And oftentimes what I've always seen from people in regards to what is displayed now as mental health, you have certain people sometimes that think that that's not a real thing, or that somebody's just trying to pull one over on you, or they're trying to use that for sympathy or what have you. I would say to that individual that they need to look at themselves and understand that you may be doing great right now in life, and you may be kicking ass and everything's going good. But I guarantee you there'll be a moment in time where things won't be going exactly the way that you want them to. That's just part of life. That's part of the struggle, if you know what I mean. But over the years, I've always looked at that, where if you see somebody, even if it's a total stranger, and you can just tell they're having a bad day, and they may be on like a bended knee, figuratively and literally, don't walk past them. Like, pick them up, ask them if they're all right, and especially with your friends and your family, because you don't know what somebody's going through. And a lot of times they're afraid to talk about it because they think they're going to be judged or made fun of or embarrassed and what have you. So eliminating that stigma is a big priority. And I think a lot of that, especially in the last 2.5, 3 years, that has been done, and people are more open to talk about it, because people talk about being physically healthy. Why shouldn't we talk about being mentally healthy?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
1,000%.
Thank you so much, Brent, for joining us today. We're really excited. And you're going on, right now you have the record for the most number ones in the last 2 decades on the mainstream rock charts. The most number ones, which is an incredible feat.
Incredible.
18 of them. 18 number ones, man. I love that. And it couldn't happen to a nicer bunch of guys who are great people and a great band.
Thank you so much, Brent, for being here.
Thank you so much for taking the time. Sorry I was a little late.